Hello, here we are with another one of the videos addressing a big question where I present the yes and no answers and sometimes even my take on the answer to the question. So today's question is this one: is there a God? I guess the questions don't come much bigger than that one. This video is also somewhat related to my video on whether or not there's an afterlife, which you might like to take a look at. Okay, the yes answers. Well, number one, as in the case of believing in the afterlife, many people simply accept what we're told. Our church, our religion, our scripture describes the machinations of God, what he expects of us, what we have to do to live by his rules and so forth. It's part of our lives. It's a structure that is that we have fully accepted. The second one is that we have had prayers answered. We've had someone who was ill and we prayed for their recovery, and sure enough they recovered, maybe after a disappointingly long length of time, but nonetheless they did recover. So in that sense, God was there, God helped us, and that is a kind of demonstration of his presence. A third argument is the sheer complexity of the world around us and our bodies, the universe, the fruit fly, and anything else we care to observe in great detail. The idea that all of this could have evolved randomly by natural selection, by evolution, seems just impossible. Someone had to design it, and that's God. Okay, the negative side of the argument is this. Number one, of course, those who don't believe in God, again, say, well, there just simply isn't any evidence of its having done anything on earth that would demonstrate supernatural powers. There was a large-scale test once, I think, of a whole series of congregations praying for the recovery of illness in people of their members, and then a fairly rigorous job was done to track the results and compare the results with people for whom no one was praying. I guess nobody cared about them. And as I recall, the results seemed to suggest that there wasn't any difference, really. So in other words, it didn't work. Well, another argument is that in contrast to a similar argument on the positive side, that someone feels that they have been let down by God. They made a request, they offered a prayer, they were looking for some kind of comfort, some kind of boon, and it simply didn't appear. It turned out to be a waste of time, and they therefore concluded it was an empty process, and they wanted nothing further to do with it. Well, the third argument comes from the distinguished sociologist who's written many books about the way civilizations develop, Jared Diamond, who, by the way, was 2 years ahead of me in the school I went to in Boston. Jared says that God was manufactured by early man when they started coalescing together in groups simply to defend themselves against other groups and against wild animals. They started to build up a little specialty of labor and got up to a point of 25 or 30 where they needed a bit of organization and a boss. And as soon as they had a boss, the boss, of course, became nervous about whether he would keep the job because it was a nice position to be in, and started to worry perhaps that he could be unseated, that he was really overhead. He wasn't out killing animals or cooking food. So he decided to endow himself with mystical powers. And that led to the notion of magic, of a connection with some kind of greater power which could occur only through him, and was thus replicated time and time again, really right down to this day. It's a pretty good explanation, I think, of the way in which God has been manufactured by man. And finally, there is the Stephen Fry argument. The idea that an all-powerful and, for that matter, compassionate God could inflict such cruelty on innocent children, perhaps with terrible disfigurement or handicaps, suggests that either there isn't one or that he's such a monster that we shouldn't pay any attention to him. That's a pretty hard judgment, but nonetheless, I think an interesting one. Okay, well, now I guess it's time to reveal my view on this, or give you my take for whatever value you think that may have. I guess I'm with Richard Dawkins on this. Richard Dawkins says there's a kind of a scale of utter rejection to utter acceptance of these kinds of questions. And he's much toward the end of the spectrum, that there is no God, rather that there is a God, but not totally. He takes the view, and I agree with him on this, that one can be no more certain that there isn't a God than one can be certain that there is a God, because we simply don't have any tools for proving it one way or another. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is no God, I guess I'm a 9. So there it is. Highly unlikely, but possible. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, if you did, give me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and even tell your friends about it. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.